It's actually really fascinating in the world where we are at the moment, where in banking and finance, in a huge range of industries, there's a lot of startups threatening to destroy the existing companies. And then there's some, like REALas, who have joined those existing companies. Where do you see this dynamic taking place? You know, should startups join big companies? Should they destroy them? You know?
So I think the word disruption is kind of is one of those buzzwords at the moment, and potentially is overused. And I like to think of it as more as maybe innovation or technology enablement, because that's what really it's about. And certainly what REALas brings is a better understanding of price for real estate. But when you look at other startups, they can do the same thing. And whether they choose to grow under their own steam, which sometimes can be a simple task to do or a trickier task, or to team up with a venture capitalist or even a large corporate like ANZ, that's a decision they need to make about in terms of what investment decisions and what's the best outcome for their own investors and their customers.
And I suppose that's the critical thing. You want to maintain the vision. Now, people would say, well, how can you maintain the vision, which presumably includes being nimble, disruptive, moving quickly, while at the same time being part of a big, let's face it, bureaucracy?
Yeah, so when I look at REALas, the startup, to now REALas, a wholly owned subsidiary of ANZ, which is what we are now. REALas, the startup, had less resources and was very nimble, could make decisions on the fly. Because it had less resources, wasn't able to always invest and be as well known as it could have been. Now, in where we are at ANZ, we certainly have more resources to do the work we need to do, both from a technology and an awareness perspective. But we've been able to, through ANZ's new program of being more agile, to be just as agile.
I mean, even 2 years ago, it would have been very rare for a startup with runs on the board like REALas to have taken this route. Now, when you look at what's happening, not just in Australia, but around the world, it's almost the norm to go into a bigger organisation. Is it still horses for courses, or do you think there has been a sea change towards joining big companies?
Well, I suppose part of what, if I was to put my corporate lens on looking at what startups do, it allows a startup can go and be very nimble and very fast at testing lots of different things. And so the beauty of that is they can kind of rapidly work through a whole lot of ideas and then come to a point where a corporation like ANZ can say, well, you know what, out of all your different startups, that one there is a really good idea. Now we want to work together with you. And so some organisations have elected to actually build that capability within in-house, and others choose to look and kind of support some out-of-house. But absolutely, going back a few years, that capability just didn't exist.
So corporates have learned, in a way, how to handle moving with smaller, agile players.
Yeah, certainly, and that's fantastic. I think there's still some work to be done and some learning to be done from both sides. So I think startups understanding how to speak to those in corporate, and corporates knowing how to speak to those in startup land is they're two different languages.
Right. Well, good luck with the new venture with ANZ. We look forward to seeing what develops, and obviously we all look forward to knowing what's going to happen with the property market.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Josh.
Great. Cheers. Thanks.